Theresa May's inner circle has been divided over how best to leave the EU, with reports of infighting between Leave supporters pushing for a clean break from the bloc and those who would prefer the UK to remain as close as possible. But a cabinet minister has said the atmosphere feels much improved now. Britain is beginning to discuss plans for a trade deal with leaders of member states instead of rowing with the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier. The understanding is that the heads of nation-states are solely interested in mutually beneficial trade deals without the distraction of political point scoring. The minister told Politico, "We are dealing with the EU 27 now, not just Brussels, and it's a different dynamic." Getty Images. Brexit news. A minister has reported a more upbeat attitude now the UK is dealing with the EU 27. The revelation comes as the Prime Minister hosts Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte in Downing Street to discuss Britain's hopes for a future trading relationship. Meanwhile, Brexit Secretary David Davis continues his Road to Brexit tour of European cities, aimed at reassuring business leaders of the UK's commitment to frictionless trade after the split. In a speech in Austria yesterday, Mr. Davis pledged the UK would lead from the front to high product standards and a robust system of regulation. Addressing businessmen in Vienna, he rubbished claims Britain would drive a race to the bottom by slashing regulations and protections for consumers and workers to gain an advantage over the EU. Getty Images. Until recently, Brexit negotiations have taken place mainly between Mr. Barnier and Mr. Davis. However, exactly what the government is hoping to achieve from the split with Brussels has yet to be decided. The Prime Minister and her cabinet are due to meet tomorrow to thrash out a Brexit endgame, which will be used to steer negotiations on a future trade agreement. So far, the bulk of divorce talks have taken place between UK negotiators, headed by Mr. Davis, and the European counterparts, directed by Michel Barnier. However, the Frenchman has been branded unreasonable by some Brexiteers, including Jacob Rees-Mogg, who previously warned the UK would not roll over and accept the bloc's regulations. Getty Images. Mr. Barnier has faced criticism from Brexiteers who have labelled him unreasonable. The European Union has demanded the UK must abide by all existing and any new laws passed by Brussels during the proposed two-year transition period, during which time Britain would have no say on what those rules might contain. The EU's terms also include accepting the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. Speaking last week, Mr. Rees-Mogg said, "I think it's unreasonable of Mr. Barnier to expect that we would just roll over and allow those laws to come in, which can have a very profound effect on our competitiveness."